Yeah, he did Jumper, explained by an idiot. So, I'm not gonna give you the premise. I'm gonna let Highboy give you the premise of Jumper, cause it's gonna be funnier that way. So let's listen to Highboy explain Jumper, shall we?
Quick announcement before this video starts, I have made some new designs, so go check it out and get yourself some new Highboy and Pearl Earrings merch for Crimson.
I can't remember if he was in it. Yeah, I think he is, Kevin.
Welcome to Jumper. It starts with a dude narrating about all the places he's been just today while chilling on top of the Sphinx's head, looking out onto the desert, which would be fine if there was a desert there, except pretty much the whole internet has seen this picture of the pyramids with a sailboard next to it. Apparently, you can casually drive by them. Anyway, the Sphinx is right there, making this shot catastrophically incorrect. Whatever, he keeps narrating and we flash back to when he was a teenager in school, giving his childhood longtime friend and now crush a snow globe with the Eiffel Tower in it as a gift. Then this bitchy-ass kid comes over, takes it, and bullies David, that's his name, making fun of him, calling him fat or some shit, I don't know. Millie, the girl, puts into this and tells him to hand the thing back. He reaches out to give the snow globe back to David, and she's fine with that, which infuriates me because it's been gifted to you. It is your property now. Moron, why are you okay with him?
Okay, that just sounded funny. It was like, it has been gifted to you, but listen to him.
Some shit, I don't know. Millie, the girl, puts into this and tells him to hand the thing back. He reaches out to give the snow globe back to David, and she's fine with that, which infuriates me because it's been gifted to you. It is your property now. Moron.
To you. I love his accent. I think it's just hysterical.
And why are you okay with him giving it back to David? You take it. Whatever. Asshole bully lets David come close and throws it over a frozen lake next to the school, so David very cautiously goes out to get it, although it's very dangerous. He finally gets it, then the ice breaks and he falls through. The currents sweep him under the ice, trapping him underwater. Everybody freaks out, especially Millie. Then all of a sudden he teleports to the local library, marking the first time he ever jumped to a different location. Hence the movie's name. He walks out super kerfuddled and confused, gets home to his abusive single father. His mom left him when he was 5, so he's currently having a pretty shitty childhood. He locks himself in his room. His dad busts in and he jumps away on accident back to the same spot in the library. Wanders around a bit, then jumps back to his empty room because his dad called the cops and is now talking to them about his son being missing and shit. David gets some of his savings and escapes the house, throws some rocks at Millie's window to get her attention and leaves her the snow globe without showing himself, then takes a bus over to New York, rents a cheap room, and starts practicing and learning how to control his powers in a very public Central Park. What a dumbass. Anyway, here's how.
Honestly, like the premise behind this is actually a pretty cool idea. Yeah, with Jake, I kind of liked it too. The idea of his powers are pretty cool. Like, he can teleport to anywhere that he's already been to. So that is a pretty cool power. And it kind of explains why, you know, some of the setup. Like when, like, I don't know if he's gonna show his room where there's like photos of everywhere. Shadow Sparta, I think what the thing with the photo is, if he's been there, he can use the photo to, I think he uses the photo as I thought it, if I'm remembering the movie right, he used the photo as a focus to direct his attention to jump to that place. And I thought that's why he had all those photos. Like, everywhere he's gone, he took a photo. And so that way he could use that to focus where he wanted to jump to. Like if he's stressed or something. Because otherwise he would jump back to the library. Like the library ended up being his default. So if he's really stressed, he would, you know, and he couldn't focus, he would jump to the library. But if he's stressed and he's got the photo, he can use the photo as a means of focusing to where to jump to. That's the way I thought it was.
How his powers work, as far as I can tell. He can jump anywhere he knows or has been or has seen a picture of. And the more emotional the jump, the more feelings.
Hang on, he just explained it, for God's sake.
And learning how to control his powers in a very public.
Oh, is that not gonna play? Okay. Cool.
Central Park. What a dumbass. Anyway, here's how his powers work, as far as I can tell. He can jump anywhere he knows or has been or has seen a picture of. And the more emotional the jump, the more feelings he uses while jumping or whatever. The more powerful the jump, the more effective it is, the more destructive it is to his surroundings, even cracks in the walls and craters and shit. Next thing on his list to do is breaking into a bank vault and stealing everything there. After he scoped it out that morning by using the customer bathroom, he robs that place blind, gets filthy rich, and we cut to Samuel Blackson playing Roland, going to investigate the bank robbery. This guy says the NSA, which as we will know stands for nincompoop shithead assholes. Then...
Whoa! Yeah, he's definitely going faster on this one. He's definitely talking a hell of a lot faster than we did during the Invisible Man one we did. Yeah, like, I kind of got distracted with Ace, but yeah, I said anywhere he's seen him. Let me back that up.
As far as I can tell, he can jump anywhere he knows or has been or has seen a picture of. And the more emotional the jump.
Okay, so has seen a picture of. Okay. I don't know, Seki.
Playing Roland, going to investigate the bank robbery, disguised as the NSA, which as we all know stands for nincompoop shithead assholes. Then, skip to 8 years later, David's still living in New York in a penthouse, ultra luxury, lazy life. Dude can't even be bothered to reach for a remote. He has a shit ton of money on every currency, and on this particular day, he jumps over to England to pick up a chick, very recklessly and irresponsibly using his powers in public, which fucking scuffed up
Yeah.
big jaw Tom Holland.
Is that... Wait. That's not Tom Holland, is it? I don't think it is. I forget who this actor was. But yeah, oh shit. This was so fucking
very recklessly
stupid.
and irresponsibly.
Like, why would he do that in a crowded bar like this? Anybody literally could see him do that. They're gonna see him literally blinking in and out of existence. So he's absolutely right. This move right here was fucking stupid. Especially if he's trying to keep his jumping power under wraps.
Using his powers in public, which fucking scuffed up big jaw Tom Holland sees. He bags this bird, then zoinks some zooters with her. No one's ever said that before. Then he jumps over to Fiji to surf some mega waves, then jumps over to the Sphinx's head again to chill out a bit. How's this not attracting any attention? I'm pretty sure you're not allowed up here. Also, isn't this a part of the...
No, he's not. There have been stories about people where the Egyptian police arrest the fuck out of people climbing on top of the Sphinx. So no, he wouldn't probably just be chilling on top of the Sphinx. And yes, we're ribbons, of course, it's because he's Anakin, I know. Well, except they found an apartment and managed to pay for the savings. Well, okay. His savings, I can't remember how much his savings were, but it was a shithole of an apartment in New York, which this came out, I think, around, what was it, early 2000s maybe? So depending on how much his savings were, that might have been enough for him to basically get a dirtbag apartment, at least temporarily. Cause 2009ish. Okay, yeah. It was like New York real estate prices, New York apartment prices hadn't like skyrocketed to the level that they are today. So depending on what his savings are, like he could have possibly had enough for, a couple months rent, which is, for a shitbag apartment in New York, they might rent out for a couple months. Or, he might just, they might just ask for first and last month's rent, and he had that, and then shortly after he moved to the apartment, that's when he robbed the bank, and boom, money. So, it might be plausible back then.
City right here. So wait a minute, the makers of this movie knew full well that the city was that nearby, yet they still made this horribly inaccurate opening shot? How? Are they stupid? They're stupid. Moving on. We cut to a jungle somewhere with Roland having incapacitated a jumper, calling him an abomination, saying only God should have the power to be at all places at all times. I mean, technically they're not, they're just in a bunch of places really fast, but I get what you're talking about. He kills this guy, then gets a phone call telling him that they finally found the bank robber from 8 years ago. So when David jumps back to his apartment after doing a bunch of other shit, I assume, he finds Roland in and he's like, who the hell are you and how are you in my apartment? Roly-poly introduces himself and goes on to tell him how bad he is at this, literally leaving notes everywhere and shit. Finally reveals that he knows who he is, and what he can do, then pokes him with an electric baton that stops him from jumping because apparently electricity running through a jumper's body makes it really hard for them to teleport anywhere. Which David finds out when he jumps a short distance to his wall to pick a picture to jump to from one of his jump sites, but he can't do it because it's too far for him to do in his electrocuted state right now. I think he picked Moscow or something. Pretty sure that fucking Rain Man geoguesser dude can guess where this is.
Has a girl ever talked to you?
No, this is Bolivia. Nice. Norway. Nice.
Roland gets him, keeps beating him and shocking him, asking him,
and you guys want me to try and do that? Are you out of your minds? I remember you guys saying, hey, do you want to do GeoGuessr? And there's like not a snowball's chance in hell. It would not be fun. I would be freaking clueless. I forget who told me. Someone told me.
Norway. Nice.
Roland gets him, keeps beating him and shocking him, asking him how he survived this long, like, who is protecting you? David is then able to jump into the secret vault in his wall, collects some cash, then gathers enough energy to jump back to his childhood bedroom that is chained shut from the outside for some reason. He stashed some more shit there that he's collecting right now. His dad heard him come, so he tries to talk to him through the crack in the door and tries to open the door but can't do it in time before David teleports away. He goes over.
He could have fit through that. I forget this actor's name. Shit. He's the actor who plays Yondu. and it was also in Walking Dead. He could have fit through that. This isn't. Yeah, Michael Rooker. Thank you. Yeah, he could have fit through this. I don't know why he's talking to the wall. He could just like ducked under that chain and just squeeze through. Honestly.
So he tries to talk to him through the crack in the door and tries to open the door but can't do it in time before David teleports away. He goes over to find a grown-up Millie who stayed in their hometown and is now working as a bartender. He just wanted to see her one last time before disappearing forever, but then his old bully recognizes him, tries to talk to him for a bit. Then Millie recognizes him and comes over to talk to him, but then gets harassed by the cockwomble, so David fights him to defend her and uses a brief moment away from the crowd to jump him into the first bank he robbed from, spook him, and leave him there. He comes back, tells Millie that the bully ran away like a bitch. She's like, "You're bleeding, let me take care of that while we catch up and start a romance." So they go back to the bar and do that. She tells him that she gave up on her dreams of traveling the world. He tells her that he's in banking. Edgar from Snowpiercer somehow tracked him down and watches this dumbass talk with great concern. Also, this extra keeps looking at the camera way too much. Then David invites her to go to Rome with him, which he knows is a top travel destination of hers. She says yes, so they go using a plane, not a jump. They get to their hotel and he takes us back from this super aggressive bellhop. Then we cut to Roland pretending to be part of the CIA, which stands for in America. He's pretending to be an agent so he can talk to Mark, the bully who the police found in the bank vault, so now he's in prison. Mark tells him everything that happened. Roland also snooped around David's apartment, going through all his jump site location pictures. Also finds pictures of Millie, figures out that she's of importance. Then also finds out that she just flew to Italy with him, so he sends some people over there to get him. Now back in Rome, they get settled into their room. She's very skeptical of him, saying things like, "So you say you're a guy in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. I don't believe that you're in banking, but listen, I don't care, just don't lie to me." So he like, "Don't worry, bibs, I know lie." She like, "Good." No.
And then he proceeds to what?
Now let's fuck, and coitus takes place. Then after the ET takes Millie Bobby Brown to the Roman Colosseum that just closed down for tourist entry, so he dips for a second, jumps inside, and unlocks the door from the other side so they can sneak in and get their own private tour. He does another stealth jump behind another door to open it from the other side so they can go down deeper into the gladiator pit area. I kind of feel like he shouldn't be able to open all these doors from the other side unless he has super duper lockpicking lawyer abilities, or maybe a very silent and small pair of bolt cutters in that bag. Pretty sure he doesn't have either, and this is bullshit, but anyway. They see one final door betwixt them and the gladiator.
It could be that the doors are that you can unlock them from the inside. Depending on, it's the Colosseum, their security is probably old at this point. Maybe you could unlock it from the inside. Yeah, it's perfectly plausible in my opinion, honestly.
Pit. So he tells her to wait here while he goes around and finds another way to open the door from the other end, jumps into the pit using his powers and finds Griffin, the scruffy Brit, taking a leak in a corner somewhere and finally introducing himself to him, jumping around, saying you thought you were the only one. Tells him that he can't just do whatever he wants, jumping everywhere without consequences, without them noticing, pointing towards a couple dudes walking in. David jumps to some high ground, leaving Griffin to fight these two dudes with electrical launching thingamabobs on his own. They hit David with it so he can't jump anywhere. Griffin's like, "Welcome to the wall, mate." Hops around, teleporting all over the place, fighting the two assailants. David keeps getting zapped. Griffin jumps the dudes into walls and off high places. Millie hears all this but don't understand nothing. Griffin deals with the two dudes and tells David that they're called paladins.
That was always the funny part. Like, she hears the shit going on, and it's like, okay, there's obvious fight sounds happening here. So are you gonna do anything? Tornado, it would be such a waste to use this power for mail service. That legitimately would be a waste. Like, use it for, like, emergency services. You know? You use it with, like, EMS, instantaneously getting a patient to the hospital. Or firefighters popping in and out to get victims out of a burning house. Or doctors able to pop from room to room. You know? Exactly, yeah, I mean, emergency, granted, if the military got its hands on it, oh fuck. You know the military would get their hands on this shit and it'd be over. And bad things would happen. Of course, the government gets its hand on it, and everybody's just fawnt.
And they want to kill all jumpers and he's fighting back. Then a Coliseum worker sees them and rushes out to report them to the cops. Griffin takes this knocked out paladin and jumps him away, so David follows him through his jump scar, which is like a fading trace of where you jump to, and ends up jumping to Griffin's secret lair, who tells him to fuck off and go back to his girlfriend, so he remembers her and goes back. Tells her that they need to leave immediately. She's hyper confused and is asking what's happened. He doesn't tell her anything. They get outside and find the cops waiting for him, trying to arrest him. She gets even more confused. They take him over to the police station to interrogate him. David keeps acting stupid like I'm innocent, I don't know what you're talking about. The cop asking him questions gets called away. Then David's mom walks in, giving him the keys to his cuffs, telling him he has 30 seconds. He has 30 seconds. He has 30 seconds before they come in for.
Dude!
Do it! Just do it!
That was painful for me.
and that he should ditch the girl because if she stays with him, she'll die. She leaves the room. He's a super confused one now and also very surprised, so he tries to follow her but runs into the cop that's interrogating him, so he jumps him over to the Sphinx and comes back for Millie, telling her that the cops let him go on the condition that he leaves the country immediately. She still has many questions that David refuses to answer, but regardless, they rush into a cab. The next morning, he takes her to the airport, still refusing to answer any of her questions, and he sends her off telling her that he cannot get on the plane with her, so she goes off real sad on her own. By the way, just a random thought, are jumpers never afraid of getting drunk and accidentally jumping to the moon? If I was a jumper, that'd be a legitimate concern of mine. Anyway, Roland gets news that David got away, so he goes over to his dad's house pretending to be the IRS, which stands for Inbred Retard Satanists, and he asks his dad a bunch of questions about his son. However, Yondu isn't that helpful, so he kills him. Now back to David, he jumps back to Griffin's lair.
Wait, did he kill Michael Rooker's character? I don't remember that. I can't remember. Did Samuel L. Jackson's character actually kill Michael Rooker? It's been a while since I've seen this movie. Like, did he? Yeah? Okay, I don't remember that.
Get some more info about these paladins. They're basically a group of religious nutjobs who hate that jumpers can do whatever they want. So they've been hunting them down since the beginning of time and will kill anyone who gets in their way. Friends, family, pets, their mailman, no one is safe. So David jumps back to his dad's house and finds his lifeless body on the floor. And even though he's a dick, he's pretty sad about that. So he does a big emotional jump to a hospital in hopes that he's still alive. Then jumps over to the New York police station that the bully's at. I don't know how he knew that he was at this specific police station, but whatever. He finds him, gets into his cell and tells him that he knows that he talked to Roland and wants to know what exactly he told him and if he told him about Millie. But as you can imagine, there's so many error messages popping into this guy's head. He's like, what the fuck is happening? Answer the question, goddammit. Did you tell him? Yes, of course, I told him everything. Why? Why would you do that? Why not? I'm trying to prove my innocence here, dude. David gets real angry and jumps back.
Why would you do that? Dude? You dumped his ass in a bank vault where you knew he'd probably get arrested. He's panicking. Why wouldn't he spill his guts about everything he knows? Yeah, thought the XE stopped working in Jumper Boy's head.
Back to Griffin's lair that's in the middle of a desert somewhere, finds Griffin just coming back from dumping the paladin he was interrogating in a shark pit somewhere in the Atlantic. David takes some of the maps and clues about Roland because he really wants to find him before he gets to Millie when her plane lands in 8 hours. But Griffin's like, get your grubby mitts off my shit, bitch. Tells him that this info won't help him anyway because he's super old. Going after Roland is really dangerous. It's very hard to track him down, so he should just let him take care of him. Then David suggests that they should team up together to take down Roland, but Griffin refuses, stating that he works alone. Then he goes up to fuel his generators and says,
Joy Woo, brother. It's goodbye in Chinese.
no, it's not. It's actually this.
再见.
He could be saying a different version of goodbye, like peace out or ciao, or maybe Google's just wrong. I don't know. Anyway, he jumps to Tokyo, David follows him, and he keeps jumping to different places, but David keeps following him, being an annoying bitch trying to convince him to team up, saying, I know where to find Roland. If that is the case, then why were we trying to steal some of his maps to find Roland? Maybe he figured it out in the 2 minutes he was following Griffin, though. Doesn't matter. Griffin then steals a brand new Mercedes and jumps it out of the showroom it's in, showing David that you can jump pretty big things if you wanna, then takes him for a joyride since he can't get rid of him. He goes racing around Japan, jumping the whole car to avoid traffic, bouncing around everywhere. David starts telling him about his parents.
Wait. Did I just see what I thought I saw?
Japan, jumping the whole car to avoid traffic, bouncing around everywhere.
Sure. This motherfucker jumped the car into the goddamn air. He jumped this car fucking 50 feet into the fucking air. No, it's not a DeLorean. Revan, you mean the comic? Because I do think that I do think this was based off of a comic book. Is that what you meant?
Around everywhere. David starts telling him about his parents and his rough childhood, and he's like, dude, who asked? Stop trauma dumping on me. Eventually, after a bunch of hooning around town for 8 hours apparently, Griffin parks in the middle of the street and agrees to David's final request to team up with.
So would this be jumping the shark taken a bit too far?
Well, Roland did jump the paladin over a bunch of sharks. He just dropped them halfway there. So maybe? Could be?
With a couple continuity errors happening because David's seatbelt keeps going from him having it on to him having it off between shots. Also, when Griffin jumps over to the airport so they can check if Millie landed or not, and David follows him, for some reason his shirt goes from not ripped to a little bit ripped to mega ripped back to not ripped at all. But his jacket is. What's that all about? Anyway, they check the airport and see that her flight landed an hour ago, so Griffin goes back to his lair to armor up, while David goes to look for her. First he checks at the bar and doesn't find her, but the people there tell him that his black friend with the white hair was just here. Dun dun dun. Roland is close by, so he jumps over to her apartment, breaks in and finds her. She's like, what the fuck? Wants him to leave, but he sees Roland rolling up, so he shows her that he's got teleportation teleportation superpowers and jumps her over to Griffin's lair right before Roland bursts in through the door. She's in massive shock and really angry with him. He goes to find Griffin and tells him that he brought the girl over. Griffin's like, are you nuts, bro? Why'd you do that? They have a machine that can follow us anywhere, retard. And we see Roland spraying some Axe deodorant to find David's jump scar. Before it fades away, him and his men activate a machine that turns the scar into a portal, opening a wormhole between these two locations. Griffin and David teleport inside and see the wormhole opening, so they hide right as Roland comes through it with one of his men. Now watch this clip, bearing in mind that they have to be very quiet so they don't fucking die.
Wait. So they have the technology available to locate the jump scar, open a portal, and be able to jump through it. But they have not been able to develop the technology to form the portal in the first place? And yeah, that was point number 2. Gore, you beat me to it. They're also pissed at these jumpers because they can port everywhere they want to go, yet they have zero compunctions about using technology to do the same goddamn thing. Yeah, it's just blind hatred and jealousy. Yep. Pretty much. Well, that's they basically, like, you know, they can take an like, the jump scar is basically the last remnants of a portal, and they can use technology to reopen that portal for them to go through. Kinda, Atanashi, yeah. But I mean, you know, a lot of things did parallel X-Men. Like, popular media did utilize X-Men as a parallel for a lot of things in terms of normal people hating people with powers while secretly actually coveting those powers, in disguising that covet as hate.
Now's not the time, jackass. Look, I know shit's weird with your mom and all. She showed up out of nowhere to save you from the Italian police after disappearing when you were 5. And now there's pictures of her on Griffin's wall. I get it. But still, shut the fuck up, dick cheese. This is life or death. Also, why did you jump somewhere else in the lair to hide and not somewhere else entirely? They only have one wormhole machine and it's in use. They can't keep following you. Anyway, his dumbass makes noise that reveals himself and gets himself electric zapped into the ceiling. He's trapped there with Roland approaching him to kill him. So he's like, why you do this? I didn't hurt nobody. Sooner or later, your kind always do. But what if I'm built different? Then Griffin shows up like, yoo-hoo, to save David with the Flammenwerfer. Ends up taking out the other paladin. And somehow not taking out Roland himself, who's actually closer than the other guy at the flames. Fucking how, whatever, he gets away and Roland hooks his hand with the...
Well, because... Very simple explanation. I don't know how... I don't know how Boy could miss this. It's because he's Samuel motherfucking Jackson, bitch. That's why the Flammenwerfer didn't touch him. You don't kill Samuel Jackson with a flamethrower. You gotta do it with... You gotta do it with force lightning and a lightsaber. Cause he's sick of these motherfucking flamethrowers in this motherfucking movie.
Fucking zappy thingy. They fight.
Samuel L. Jackson surpasses
big jumping power punch to punch Roland through a wall into the sand. He gets out there himself and hops on a quad bike, flips him off, and jumps away over to London. Comes back with a double-decker bus to throw it at Roland, but he fucking Dark Souls dodges that shit. Bro had no reason to get on a quad bike, by the way. That was a totally risky, time-wasting thing to do. But anyway, while they were fighting, Millie was outside trying to process all this shit. When Roland got punched through the wall, she enters to see David stuck in the corner of the ceiling. Roland comes back inside and Griffin chases him back into the wormhole, then follows him in through it to fight him in Millie's apartment. While she cuts down David with bolt cutters, just so he can get her out of here. So he's like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take you away and leave you alone, but just so you know, was...
Now, can I point out, she's cutting away his bolt cutter, we'll leave this stuff with bolt cutters. This is metal cable that is electrified. Remember, that's what's keeping him from jumping. This net is literally, let me see if I can get into it real quick. Hang on. Hang on. Okay. Doesn't really show. Most bolt cutters don't... I don't know if they have insulated grips or not. It's like you can kind of see the grips here. I don't know if they're insulated or not. Because, I mean, these things... They might... Some do. It's a question of if this one does it. But if memory serves, in the movie, they don't even address it. Where it's like an electrified net. I don't even think they address it.
Well, she cuts down David with bolt cutters, just so he can get her out of
Hang on, we got a little bit better luck. I don't know. Those look really thin. My head's a little bit in the way. Those look pretty. You think they're rubber? I don't know. They look kind of like thin plastic. I don't know. They could be. They could be.
Cuts down David with bolt cutters, just so he can get her out of here. So he's like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take you away and leave you alone, but just so you know, it was always you, ever since you were kids. They have a small moment while Griffin is fighting for his fucking life. Then he pops back into his lair, having stolen the wormhole machine, which closes the portal and traps them on the other side. But right before it closes, Roland shoots one of those grapple human harpoon things, which lands on Millie, pulls her through, and the portal closes. So he's like, good, now they have to come to us. Griffin then starts arming a bomb saying this.
Roland's in there with his whole army. We're gonna go back there and end this.
But then later on we hear him saying this.
There's 5 of them back there.
Bruh, his army's made out of 5 people? Tiny ass army. Anyway, David's like, you can't do that, Millie's in there. And a damn shame that is. I really wish it wasn't the case, but collateral damage, bro. So while he looks for the bomb's detonator, David takes the bomb and teleports away. Griffin follows him and finds him at the Roman Colosseum. They start fighting over the safe with the bomb in it, each trying to jump it away and get control of it. They jump it away to the top of the pyramids and have a fight over it. Transition to fighting over the detonator now, teleporting all over the world.
I gotta say, like, the teleportation fight was pretty cool. Like, the way they did this with them, like the constant teleporting and then fighting and then teleporting in and, like, fighting mid-teleport and everything, that was actually done pretty cool. The special effects were, like, the teleportation special effects in this movie were actually pretty decent for, you know, late 2000s. I had never had any problems with the special effects that they used. I thought they were perfectly good for the time because it was kind of minimalist. The teleportation stuff, from a special effects perspective, was kind of minimalist. It was more of it wasn't so much about complexity. It was volume. You know, if you're doing like multiple jumps in the same scene in the same area, like if he's literally just jumping like 5 or 10 feet away, and they're doing it multiple times, I could see that being like very time consuming because you're having to, you know, with a lot of the jump effects, I think back then they were doing a lot of rotoscoping, so it was a lot of rotoscoping shit out and then back in. But the effects overall were quite decent, and it made for a really cool spectacle when it came to the fight.
Is Hayden Christensen's acting better in this than in Star Wars Episodes 2 and 3?
Yes. Yes, it is. And I don't fault Hayden Christensen for his acting in Star Wars because he was directed to act that way. Because everybody acted that way in Star Wars. I think the only 2 people that really got to act was I can't remember, the name escapes me of who played Chief Palpatine. And Ewan McGregor. Ian McDiarmid, thank you. Lost his name. Yeah, Ian McDiarmid and Ewan McGregor, I think, were really the only 2 in the Star Wars prequels that really got to act, or at least they got the best direction when it came to acting. Hayden Christensen, Natalie Portman, the direction that they were given with their, you know, for their scenes, I don't think that was their acting capability. I think it was the direction that they were given. So yes, he did. Yeah, it was not only the dialogue, but their direction, how they presented the dialogue. The dialogue was not great to begin with, but the way that they were probably instructed to deliver it probably didn't help either. But his acting is definitely better in this movie, absolutely.
From Tokyo to Dubai, David throwing it off the Empire State Building, which is a stupid ass move because we can teleport, dipshit. So they continue fighting over it, free falling through the air, then they jump into a public swimming pool, then to the Arctic, then Griffin jumps a truck with a Hispanic dude into David, who teleports him to a war zone in Chechnya. Griffin gets out of the truck that immediately gets run over by a tank, and you think the Hispanic guy left inside would have died from that, but no, don't worry, he disappeared between shots. Fuck you on your continuity errors, movie. Griffin then finds a detonator and hobbles over to David to tease him like, I got the detonator, I win, you lose, suck it bitch, which gives David enough time to grab him and jump him into a telephone, electricity, the pole fucking poor man's Eiffel Tower pylon whatever thing, I forget what it's called, getting lucky and trapping him in there, electrocuted so he can't jump. Griffin keeps telling him to get him down from there and not to go back alone because he can't take all of them on his own. I really don't understand how they're not getting shot in the crossfire while they're in the middle of this literal fucking active war zone, but whatever. David disregards his warnings and jumps back to Millie Street somehow with dry hair now, then onto her balcony, sees her bound to her wall, and this guy with a brain that is a microbiome of rotting fecal matter does literally zero recon like the gun-ho jackass that he is, and jumps in immediately, which gets him trapped,
of course he does,
and electrocuted by Roland and his people. But he's so angry, or like wants to save her so bad, that he keeps trying to jump, in the process shaking the whole place and tearing it apart while Roland is trying to kill him. Remember how I said being more emotional makes the jump more violent or more effective? I guess it's helping in this scenario because bro got that dog in him. He digs deep and jumps the whole fucking apartment with everything in it into the body of water he almost drowned in as a teenager. Then he jumps it all again to the library he escaped to. He passes out, Millie slaps him awake like, get up bitch! So he jumps her to safety, then jumps.
That is such a bad trope. Slap someone to wake them up. That is they use it in movies all the damn time. And it is such a bad trope to just slap someone to try and wake them up. Like, bro. Yes, I know, the pause point. I know. I hate that because like they got knocked out because they've suffered brain trauma. Slapping them is not doing them any favors.
Jumps back to the Roland, takes him and jumps him over to a cave somewhere, saying, told you I'm different, I could have dropped you with the sharks. You probably should have, you great big hunk of stupid. Because when he jumps away to leave him there on his own, we zoom out to a wide shot that looks like he's in the Grand Canyon, which I think you can survive being deserted there. Actually, looking at how high that cave is, he's probably gonna have some trouble climbing down, might fall and break his neck or some shit. But still, he should have killed him and made sure he was dead. Anyway, we cut to sometime later with David having tracked down where his mom lives. She lives in Elsa's castle. Turns out he has a half-sister that's dating a gay vampire. She's real surprised to see him. They have a small conversation and it turns out she's a paladin.
I forgot she was in this movie.
Turns out he has a half-sister that's dating a gay...
I completely forgot Kristen Stewart was in this movie. And I'm thinking I can guess why. 'Cause her acting is about as expression-filled as her acting in Twilight. Who? Carboy? She played Bella in the Twilight series. And her acting is like incredibly wooden. She's often referred to in those movies as a plank of wood because she like does not emote. Well, I mean, Shadows and Angles. This is the prequel of Twilight. This is how she ends up in Forks because of the problems they're having with her mom. What about Mary Jane and Spider-Man? She wasn't Mary Jane. You're thinking of Kirsten Dunst in Spider-Man. Wrong K actress. Yeah, Mary Jane in Spider-Man was Kirsten Dunst, not Kristen Stewart.
A vampire. She's real surprised to see him. They have a small conversation and it turns out she's a paladin. She left him when he was 5 because the actual first jump he ever did was when he was 5 and she saw that, which left her with two choices, either kill him or leave him. So she chose to leave him, and I guess she's also been low-key keeping him safe from the rest of the paladins, covering his sloppy ass tracks ever since because she loves him. But now she has to chase him, so she hugs him and gives him a head start. He leaves and goes to Millie, who's still with him, because who would pass up on having a boyfriend that could teleport? This movie gets 5 ping pong rackets out of 7 pickled onions.
Okay. That rating system. Oh, goodness gracious. That was, holy shit, that was something. That one was harder to keep up with because he was going a hell of a lot faster than he did the last time we watched.